Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.
Previously on the Transformers.
It's date night in Jasper, Nevada. RC and Wheeljack are taking in the atmosphere in that lovely, dry, rocky area over there, while beating up Decepticon flunkies and digging up Predacon bones. On the other side of town, another couple is making a late-night visit to the local museum. But a dashing robotic doctor cuts in. It's okay though, Agent Fowler and Nurse Darby manage to steal away from Knockout, but on the other hand, Knockout manages to steal their Predacon fossil and deliver it to Megatron. Now on today's episode, called Thirst. The episode begins with Starscream and Knockout sharing complaints over Megatron's disinterest in them over Shockwave and his Project Predacon. But it's nothing a little mad science can't cure. Bwahahaha! Now everyone knows every Christmas Megatron asks Ultra Claus for a big gang of super soldiers, but he never gets one.
4 million consecutive years on the naughty list and counting.
So Starscream and Knockout decide to make him one. If you'll remember back to last season when the leader of the secret organization called Mech got put inside Breakdown's lifeless husk, and then was put in captivity by the Decepticons for cruel experiments.
Let's say yeah.
Well, Starscream figures who better to inject with a cocktail of dark and artificial energon, and that adds up to a part human, part transformer, part zombie, part vampire. And it even has one of those xenomorph extra mouth thingies. So obviously the thing goes on a rampage, infecting the con minions and turning them into Terracons, as they're called. And then wouldn't you know it, Megatron finds out there's a horde of energon-hungry ghouls running wild on his warship. Then the big guy proves why he's in charge when he orders all crew to hunt down the infected while remaining at a safe distance.
Or as it's also called, how to end a zombie outbreak in under 5 minutes.
But the Breakdown zombie finds his way into cold storage where they're keeping another loose plot thread, Black Arachnia.
Private.
I know, her name's Arachnid. But that's such a stupid name. So Breakdown Silas Vampire Zombie gets re-killed, and the Swarm Queen here gets exiled to one of the moons of Cybertron. Hopefully the one that gets eaten by Unicron during the first Transformers movie. Thanks, Soundwave. Thirst is certainly an interesting episode. A grand total of none of the Autobots appear, and there's a surprisingly touching moment between Starscream and Knockout.
I guess there's nothing like impending doom to bring a team together.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hands down, the best part of Thirst is the heavy atmosphere. The sense of gloom and dread are heavy in the long corridors of and the stormy skies around Megatron's flagship. And for fans of the Universal Monsters, there's even an moment. Another highlight is the interaction between Starscream and Knockout. The two preening peacocks have a surprising amount of chemistry. I'm not sure if I like seeing Breakdown/Silas again. I like Breakdown, and his poor treatment throughout the series is no bueno in my opinion. But even worse is Silas and Mech. The whole idea behind them earns my award for the most intriguing new idea and the worst execution of that idea. But that deserves a video unto itself. If I'm not sure I'm happy to see Breakdown, I know I'm not happy to see Arachnid. She's easily one of my least favorite Decepticons. Mainly because I think the writers aren't sure what they wanted to do with her. Starting out as a foil for RC, then graduating to hating the Decepticons. As much, if not more, than the Autobots. Complete with an army of Insecticons at her command, but Arachnid is still boring to watch. For fun, let's compare Arachnid to Queen Chrysalis from Friendship is Magic and to Azula from Avatar. Queen Chrysalis is fun as hell to watch. She's having a ball stomping on anyone that gets in her way. Now compare to Arachnid, who's so aloof she almost looks bored. Against Azula, Arachnid doesn't do any better. Azula's aloof and unshakable too, but to compensate for that she has some, depth and motivation and shockingly loyalties beyond the whole neutral evil because it's best for me thing. Lastly, let's talk about the episode's setup. Deceptizombies. Strictly personal opinion here, but I think naturalistic horror, basically the idea that there's a rational explanation behind all the events happening in the story, is one of the hardest types of writing to do. The scariest things are unexplainable. A great example is Cthulhu. Both alien and supernatural, all but impossible to understand and a gateway to madness to even try. The Terracons, dangerous and infectious though they might be, are still easily understood, managed, and defeated. But as enemies, they're kind of interesting. Haven't seen anything quite like them before. Then there's that ending. I won't spoil it, but this is the last season of Transformers Prime. Not a good time for horror cliffhanger endings. So let's see how things add up and get our final score. If you're a Transformers fan,
If you ain't, that'd be kinda weird.
as well as a horror movie, particularly zombie fan, you'll really dig this episode and I recommend that you see it. For the rest of us, the atmosphere is really cool and the Starscream and knockout scenes are fun. On the downside, this episode feels more than a little unnecessary, and in a 13 episode season, that's not a good thing. Also, dredging up some characters that should really have stayed buried, Thirst gets a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching, I'm the Stupid Private.
That's all, folks.